So, good morning viewers. Today you're in for a big treat on this New Year's Eve. So I'm in this village in the Cotswolds in England, most beautiful part of England you will ever see, called Northleach, and we're on our way to meet a very dear friend of mine called Michal Morse, and she owns the oldest doll's house shop in England. So there you see it, the doll's house. It was started basically in London in Covent Garden, and Michal moved up here in the 1990s, and I'm sure within the next couple of hours she'll explain the story to you herself. And you can see the big doll's house in the window there. That's the side of the shop. Oh, and here she comes.
Oh, Kevin, I can't wait to hear what Michal has to say about her journey with miniatures. I really wished I was there with you both. How absolutely fascinating. And look how cozy her home is. I just love it.
Off we go. So, tell me how you started with the Doll's House company.
Well, I started the Doll's House shop back in '71. I was married to somebody who'd started a model railway shop, and it was the only way of getting out of doing the chores. I had a flat in Portobello Road, which I used to sell antiques from, and then Peter turned up and we started selling model railways from.
So that's how you come to start. So where did it go from there?
Well, Peter started a model railway shop. He teamed up with somebody who sold second-hand cars, and I met Anne Griffith, who was a Doll's House collector, and I had been thinking of having a shop selling old-fashioned toys, spillikins and things like that.
Okay, so you carried on from got introduced to the Doll's Houses
Through Anne Griffiths, yeah. And so when Peter moved his model railway shop from Broadley Street in Marylebone to a bigger shop in Lisson Grove, I took over the little shop in Broadley Street, and all the wives who people who went to the model railway shop came across to me and said it was so much nicer than those model railways.
Yeah.
So while the husbands went to the model railway shop, the wives used to come in to me, and I had some quite interesting people coming in there. A friend who helped in the shop was Jo Whitehorn. It used to be Josephine Plummer, who used to do Children's Hour on radio, BBC Radio, and she'd got Noah Straightfield, the author, to come in. Yes, so Jo Whitehorn working for me. She also brought in some other people. Several men came in, and they used to be in the Jennings series about schoolboys, and these were actors she'd known when they were children. And through her we met somebody, an American film producer, and he'd done a film about the borrowers, and was more correctly dressed. Yes, because Jo had produced the borrowers on the radio. When the producer of the American film came over, he arranged a private viewing for us, and I recently tracked down a video of that. And what was interesting, that I knew the person who'd written it, Mary Norton, because her daughter was at art school with me, and so I was at art school with Caroline Norton, and her mother Mary Norton had written the Borrowers books, and before that she wrote The Magic Bedknob, which was a book I was given as a child, and so it's quite interesting. She apparently wrote the books just after the war because she had to make money. Her husband had been gassed in the war.
So what happened? You got the shop. First shop was in Covent Garden, was it?
No, Broadley Street.
Ah, how far is that? Closer or far away?
No, the first shop was in Broadley Street. When Peter moved his model railway shop into Liston Grove, and Broadley Street's just south of Church Street Market in Marylebone.
Right, so it was down by Marylebone, and so what happened next?
Peter was starting his model railway shop. He moved down to the city, and so I took over the Liston Grove shop, and then eventually in 80 to 91 to 95.
So
I was invited when Covent Garden was redeveloped. It used to be the fruit market, and when it's redeveloped, they chose a lot of interesting privately owned shops. I mean, later on, the chain stores moved in, but it was all very exclusive to start with. And there was a shoemaker opposite, Clive Shilton, and he made the shoes for Princess Diana for her wedding.
yeah, I watched a programme about the making of Covent Garden there the other day myself, and I wondered whether you'd gone in there right from when it was first redeveloped.
I was invited to go there because they invite a lot of privately owned shops, and they had Cranks. They had Cranks, but before that, they did ask Justin de Blanc, who I'd known from JWT, and he had a shop in Pimlico.
So at what point did you decide to move from Covent Garden down to the Cotswolds?
Well, I had a 15-year lease, and every 3 years the rent used to go up 50%. At the end of 15 years, they virtually doubled it, and I thought, really, I don't like it here, so I decided to move my business down to the Cotswolds. I already had this house. It had a shop attached to it, and so I moved down here, and I love it.
Well, thanks, Michael, for all your time again and all the lovely houses that you've sold to me. I hope there's many more to come, and a few more to add to the collection in 2025, seeing as we're on the cusp of a new year.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're enjoying the hobby. It's great fun.
Thank you. We'll speak soon.
So not only does Michal Morse own the Doll's House, which is England's longest existing dollhouse store that was established in 1971, she's also an extremely knowledgeable person when it comes to miniatures, and it's well worth a trip to go and visit her at her store and see the things that she has to offer. She has modern items as well as lots of antique items. So this is the address where the store is located. However, she is open by appointment only, so you would want to contact her in advance. Her website is the-dollshouse.co.uk. So she's open by appointment only on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays from 10 to 5. Not only that, she's also a well-known miniature writer, so she's actually published a few books. Furniture Doll's House, you can see here, which is just absolutely beautiful. I have a copy of that book in my possession, which I cherish. Build a Dollhouse, Decorate a Dollhouse are just some of the contributions that she's added to our miniature world. This is a copy of Furniture Dollhouse, which I personally own, and if I ever make it to see her in the UK, I'm definitely bringing it with me in my luggage so I can get it signed. Wouldn't that be cool? So she also has contributed over the years to many dollhouse magazines and contributed her vast knowledge about the miniature community, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm going to take you on a journey of some of the things that are for sale in her shop. Although the things that are pictured here aren't all that she has in her shop. There is actually a vast amount of stuff that are not pictured here. These are some of the furnishings that she has for furnishing your dollhouse. I love these kitchen chairs. I think they're just absolutely beautifully handcrafted. She also has a vast amount of antique furniture as well. Featured here is some of the pottery that she has for sale in her store. And here's a pine bedroom. Well, I don't think that's a bedroom, that's a dining room. Yeah, that's just absolutely beautiful. So there is like lots and lots to choose from in her store. Check out that quilt. Isn't that gorgeous? Like, that's a quilt. Wow, whoever did that really knew what they were doing. I'm just going to be showing you some of the houses that she has for sale. She has this stunning antique brick house, which is just absolutely fabulous. And you know, it's really hard to do this without saying the words fabulous, beautiful, incredible over and over again. We have nothing like this where I live. So, I mean, it would just be a joy to be able to go into a shop like this and be able to look at all of these incredible antique doll houses. Although not all of them are antiques, some of them are modern as well. So this Victorian single bay house is, I believe, quite modern. So it's hard for me to tell because I'm just going by photographs. It would be a lot easier if I was there in person. This DH11 Lines Brothers house went home with Kevin today. Lucky guy. Like, he needs another dollhouse, Kevin. But yeah, that will add to his collection because I don't believe he currently has a DH11. These 5-story terraced houses are really quite nice because, you know, they don't take up as much room as other doll houses because they're tall rather than wide. Yeah, I think they're quite a beautiful way to display all of your miniatures. And then this lovely pink house. So pink isn't my color, but I know a lot of little girls would want to own a pink house like that. It's just beautiful. And this Edwardian double gable house is quite intriguing. I could see building a miniature pub there on that main floor. Yeah, that's really quite a unique looking house. And here's a Trang house, very much like the Trang house that I personally own. Looks just like my house. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I don't have a window there on the main floor, though. And then this is a large 10-room project house for someone that's interested in putting their own finishing touches on a dollhouse. And it's huge. I mean, if it's got 10 rooms. Oh, yes, and a Trang restoration project. That's a stockbroker. Very large house, but beautiful nonetheless. Yeah, that would be a fun one to restore. And then, of course, a beautiful Georgian brick house, which is quite unique. You can see there's a couple dolls standing at the front door. That's really cool. Absolutely beautiful. And here's a little GB. So, and look, it's got the original awnings on it. I'm so jealous. I had to make my awnings out of, well, you guys call them lolly sticks over there in the UK. I call them popsicle sticks. And this embellishments on this chalet style house are quite cool as well. So we don't have any homes that look even close to that here in the part of Canada that I live. And here's a brick papered villa, and that's a handcrafted dollhouse, which looks like whoever built it did a really lovely job of it. And what else do we have? Oh, this one's very sweet. So this is a 1918 dollhouse. And I like the colors. Like, it looks like it has red brick at the bottom and the top part is painted white. And this must be huge. It's a Georgian mansion. I would love to see the inside of that house. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Wow. So I love the way it's curved on the left-hand side. And then here's a Victorian house. And it says here that it's an antique house as well. And that's quite a pretty house as well. Yeah, there's just so much to look at here. And here's an antique house. That looks like to me, a dad built house. So somebody's father probably built that for their child. And yeah, it's quite unique. And I just really, really like this L-shaped house. I really like the way the windows are done. Look how ornate they are. Just really pretty. Kind of reminds me of gingerbread trim, only it's around the windows. This it was built by prisoners of war, 1947 German house. I bet you that one has a super unique story behind it. I love how high the pitch is on the roof of this house. And here's my favorite house in the collection. I don't know what it is about this house, but I absolutely love, love, love it. That house is just absolutely glorious. This is an artisan piece by Annie Willis. It's a Roman bath. You can see the bathing beauties soaking in the Roman bath. That's really cool. Yeah, you don't see often interesting things like that here. And again, here's another 5-story terraced house. And once again, what a great way to display all of your miniatures in one of those beauties. All of the houses that are on this video or being featured on this video are currently for sale. There's also this antique cottage house, which is all original, it says. So what else do we have here? Oh, yes. Look at this large brick painted house. There you are, Michael, standing beside it. That house is enormous. I couldn't even imagine how much that would ship. I bet you the shipping costs would be astronomical to get it to my house, that's for sure. I guess if there's a will, there's a way, but yeah, it would be quite cost prohibitive for someone like me. This is actually quite beautiful too. Look at the pillars on the front of this. It's that looks like a very large house too. And this 1930s house, like I just love the colors on that. That green and mustard yellow, beautiful. Just absolutely just my kind of thing. And this simple wooden house is a thing of beauty as well. Yeah, I think sometimes things are just much better in their simplicity, although it's not as good as my favorite house. And then here's a 1950s house, all original, and that's quite lovely as well. And what else do we have here? You've got too many. Here's a Tudor house, which is really well done. Look at the brickwork on the main floor of that house. Very, very unique and quite beautiful. So, yeah, that would be a lot of fun to see what the inside of all of these houses look like. This C. Turnbull house was built about 1910, and it's 4 feet high. And it says it's an original build. She also sells artisan items like this beautiful violin made by retired dentist Paul Isaacs. Just exquisite. Who would have thought that this many miles between Canada and the UK could be bridged by the internet and doing these collaborations on YouTube? What a wonderful thing. I've also had a chance to somewhat get to know Michael via Facebook, which is just an absolute treasure. Thank you once again, Michael, for taking the time to sit down with our friend Kevin and tell us a little bit about the history of your store. I hope 2025 brings you all joy and happiness. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free to do so. Hit that like button and hit the notification bell, and that way you'll know every time I upload a new video. Please feel free to reach out to Michael and go and visit her in her lovely store. Just remember, it's by appointment only, so reach out first. So once again, everyone, have the best day ever. And thank you, Kevin, so much for your kindness and generosity. And also your and Donna's friendship. I just love you guys.